Coming up on the program, Human Rights Watch accuses Burundi's government of violently suppressing the opposition ahead of a referendum vote. The police in South Africa carry out a massive raid on properties belonging to the controversial Govt brothers. And the police in Uganda battle to curb a rise in kidnappings. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Temitope Fagbemi. We begin today in East Africa, where an international rights group, Human Rights Watch, is alleging that Burundi government forces and members of the ruling party have killed, beaten and intimidated people they regard as opponents of a referendum vote on extending the president's term in office. President Pierre Nkurunziza, who is serving a controversial third term in office, has governed Burundi for 13 years. If next month's vote goes in his favor, it will allow him to rule until 2034. Human Rights Watch says it has documented 19 cases of abuse since December 12, when the president announced plans for the May 2018 referendum. The group says most of the people targeted were members of the opposition National Liberation Forces Party. Let's get more on this story from an African affairs analyst and a lecturer at the University of Lagos, Mr. Okwe Okwala. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much.
What do you make of the alleged violent crackdown on President Pierre Nkurunziza's opponents ahead of the May 17 referendum vote?
Well, it's a very sad commentary on leadership in Africa. It shows that most African leaders have refused to civilize themselves. And when opportunity beckons to be truly great, due to their selfishness, because they're myopic, they just blow it. Because Nkurunziza is somebody that he was already on a death row. In 1998, he was sentenced to death for laying mines. And he led, after the Civil War, the war that came, he became a leader and then reunited the country. There was an opportunity to truly be a great leader in Burundi and in Africa. But because he cannot just say, live without power. He's now committing atrocities. This is somebody who also confesses to be a born-again Christian, who wants everybody to believe that, look, I guess I want to do the will of God. But then, when it comes to power and quest for power, most leaders are willing to do anything. So it's a very, very sad commentary.
Now, the proposed changes, if passed into law, could extend the president's tenure to 2034. Is this the first step to Nkurunziza seeking a life presidency?
Nkurunziza is already 51. And he has been in power for nearly 10 years.
For 13 years.
Yeah. Yes, he has been. So if he already, of course, when it changes by that time, of course, if leaving power stays him on the face, I think you may want to do something else again, to maybe another change of the constitution and another referendum. But the worst thing is that even this issue of referendum, he wants to manipulate it. It's not as if he wants the people to truly decide what they want. And there are several cases of violence, killings. The youth wing of the ruling party is going about committing rapes. Even those who were opposing them, they were raping their wives and in their presence and all that. From the reports that we have just cited. So it's very, very unfortunate. It's a very, very, very unfortunate. And I think because 14 years or 25 or 15 years or 16 years now may seem a bit far, but by the time he gets there, he may still not want to go. If you can't go after 13 years, you may not go after 30.
Now, some opposition figures and residents in many parts of Burundi say they were forced to sign up during the registration process. Is it possible, just maybe, there could be a revolution from the people that will stop this referendum from holding?
Well, there may be, but then what concerns me is that whether the revolution will be at a great cost. Stopping him should be at a great cost to lives, to prospect of development of that country. It doesn't have to happen. But our African leaders should learn to do the right thing without, if you have stayed, you have had the opportunity to govern this country for 10 years, for 13 years, I mean, you can bow out gracefully. And you don't have to plunge the country into civil war or into a revolution or into, anarchy before, whether you remain like Syrian President Assad and the country is devastated, or you are pushed away, the country pays a great price.
Finally, President Nkurunziza's bid to cling on to power has been on for quite a while, even before his controversial third term in office. This is ambition to cling on to power. Is it likely to threaten the country's unity and the country's democracy?
Of course. I mean, it's threatening both. Because Nkurunziza is a Tutsi. And before now, the Tutsis were having the impression that the Hutus were dominating. And now there's an opportunity. This country is already divided. But he managed to weld it together for some time until this issue came up. What happens is that those fault lines will come up again. It will come up again. We're going to say, oh, this is a Hutu, this is a Tutsi, this is the person who supports us, those. And then, of course, that is what is coming up now. And if we will divide the people, and if that even whether it's there or somebody else is there, it is very difficult to bring.
Is it also likely to spill over? Could it affect the region, not just Burundi?
It's likely, although in Kigali, there are the makeup of Burundi and the makeup of Rwanda is almost the same. There are Tutsis there, Hutus there. These two countries are dominated by Tutsis and Hutus. So whatever affects Burundi is likely going to, there are those in Rwanda that will sympathize with one group in Burundi, another part of, and then it may likely, generate regional instability.
Mr. Okweokwala, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you so much. God bless you.